Are you still there? Have you been waiting all this time for my Norwalk event report? I mean, that was back in May. It's almost the end of the year. Well, maybe you should do it. All right, let's do it. Let's do that event report for Norwalk back in May. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Nowalk Havoc. Yeah, so I think last time I made a video, it was about the making of Honker, which was a 12-pound bot that I wanted to take up to Connecticut to compete. It was newly designed, assembled. I played around with it a little bit in the test box that I have here at the house, but definitely hadn't really competed with the bot before. So this was kind of be a new experience for both the venue and the bot. So unfortunately I don't have Honker here in one complete form to kind of point to and discuss. I've had to use some of the components for some of the other recent events, most notably Robot Ruckus in Orlando that happened in November of 2021. Oh! I promise I'll do a more timely event story on that one. But this one's about Norwalk and Honker. Norwalk is a very impressive facility. It has a pit area entirely dedicated to the builders. The facility itself is an entire building dedicated to the Norwalk events with the ability to broadcast, to record, machine shop to work at. It has its own visitor entry area where they put you into the arena space. It has bleachers for the visitors, the audience to watch. The audience can view the competitions right there. The machine shop has a lot of capability for the builders to fix or modify or improve their bots. I'm very appreciative to Ed, who kind of runs the machine shop there. Very helpful. I'll kind of discuss a little bit more why I needed that help in a little bit. The arena space, the production space, has two arenas for the 3-pound. They're 8x8. And the 12 and 30-pound arena is a 16x16. Both sets of arenas, all the arenas are wood floor, but really well made. It is inside next to the bleachers, so the visitors have a really good view of all the competitions, not to mention the video that they take is broadcast to a bunch of TVs around the space. So no matter where you are in this facility, you can actually watch what's going on. So we arrived early in the morning, got there and started to unpack the bot, picked a place in the pit area. The check-in safety were pretty straightforward and streamlined. They had 2 large test boxes that facilitated people testing and prepping their robots. That was very appreciative. They have a photo table where you are asked to submit a photo of your robot that gets uploaded, and they use that for video editing. They put the picture of your bot in so people can identify which robot is which when they talk about the bots. And in the morning, both of the announcers, they came out and walked around, walked the pits, talked with the different teams, got familiar with the teams and the robots that were competing that day. So they had a lot of backstory and information, which was very nice. And I think if you watch the Norwalk video streams of these events, you'll be impressed with how much they know about these competitors and can talk about what's going on behind the scenes as well as in the arena itself. The competition is double elimination, so once you lose twice, you are out of the competition. At the event, I saw plenty of teams competing there that were from BattleBots. I saw Bunny from Malice. I saw the Ribbit team, Jameson Go from Sawblaze. You've got the Jackpot team was there. I saw Overhaul and Smee as well.
Another one that I'm really excited about today is Honker.
Honker, yeah.
Honker is really impressive. Honker is a 4-bar top attack bot.
Yeah.
Normally, when you hear 4-bar, you think of lifters like Lucky from BattleBots, but this is a 4-bar top attack bot. Really fascinating design, really interesting way that it articulates. The entire assembly is AR400. I'm really excited to see how this thing works. It's a very strange concept.
Honker's first matchup is against a pretty powerful vertical spinner. Goes by Sunset. It's driven by a cool dude, Jeremy. We had about 2 hours before our first competition, and so I had a chance to kind of meet up with Jeremy and kind of talk a little bit before the fight.
Kyle, Honker is in the box.
There we go.
Honker is in the box, Kyle. Oh my God. First big box fight of the day. I love it.
Here
7,
we go.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight robots, fight!
Brand new bot from Orlando, Florida.
Whoa, big hit on Honker. Oh, Honker, can you self-right?
I would hope so with that lifter arm. Let's see. They seem to be stuck upside down, and Sunset's just letting them hang there. They're getting that one fluffy hit.
Oh. Oh,
There we go. Nope, that's not happy.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Bits
not
of the
happy
right
at all.
side of Honker are being torn off.
Honker, is that a tap out? Yeah, that is a tap out from Honker. Wow, okay.
God.
Sunset, powerful weapon on that bot. That was really impressive.
Okay, you can see that in this competition, first time out with the bot, oversteer was a little bit of a problem. I started to scale that back, got a little bit better control, but being the first time running the bot in any serious distance in a competition setting, I wasn't surprised that I was having some directional problems. Unfortunately, Sunset was able to get in and get a good hit early on in the match, flipped me over. I was surprised I wasn't able to at least partially self-right. I think depending on where the 4-bar mechanism is operating through, it has quite a different torque requirements, and unfortunately I think where I am positioned here, I just could not get enough torque out of the motor to really even start to push myself into the right place. I had motioned to Jeremy to go ahead and hit me because I didn't want to just be sitting there upside down. I wanted to put on a show, and possibly a good enough hit would turn me back over and we could continue sparring. Unfortunately, that was a bad choice. You can see the robot gets entirely dismantled here. The chassis comes apart. It's clear that my aluminum welds that hold the side armor was not fully penetrated, was not sufficient enough to really resist that vertical spinner from pulling away. So it created quite a huge damage to the overall chassis. And this would be a problem I would have to try to deal with over the next hour, hour and a half, trying to get it back into a shape where I could actually operate the bot. So I was eventually able, with Ed's help in the machine shop, to pound, vise, cajole, twist, to try to get the aluminum chassis into a somewhat okay shape. I had to reinforce the chassis where I could with additional pieces of Kydex and polycarbonate to try to hopefully keep things aligned and in place for the next competition. I was able to, with just a few minutes to spare, to get everything assembled back together, was able to twist it into place so that I was running on all 4 wheels for my next competition, which would be against Miss Botwiser, who was in the losers bracket along
4, 3, 2, 1. Fight robots, fight!
Okay, you can see I'm a bit more amble this time around, and was able to take the fight to my opponent. You see I do get a decent lick in on the top armor. In fact, after the fact, talking with the driver, I had punctured the top side of the armor in that initial hit, and was able to basically get all the way through the armor and through the outer housing of the weapon motor, and that's why the weapon motor stops working for a good portion. I think eventually the weapon is able to spin back up. However, it had some problems at that point.
To build this bot, very interesting design. The 4-bar lifter top attack or 4-bar top attack bot. Looks like
Honker's weapon is running.
Yeah, their weapon is running, but it looks like they're losing some structural integrity on the actual 4-bar system. That's okay. It's down and it's on top of the other opponent right now. There we go. They were able to get it up. What a strange way to come down on top of another bot. Still no movement from the weapon on Ms. Botwiser.
Kyle, it's been at least an hour since we've seen Ms. Botwiser. You've got to wonder why that weapon is not running.
Oh my God, as soon as I said it, I manifested it, Kyle.
You did. You manifest. Nope. Not
right,
enough manifestation.
I halfway manifested it.
Yep, you manifested
Let's
a little
see it
bit.
one more time, Miss Botwiser.
They're trying.
All right, 70 seconds left in this match.
Honker does indeed look like a goose.
All right, it is very quiet inside of the
I eventually get lucky, pushing Miss Botwiser over upside down. I am able to kind of hold on to it with the top part of the attacking arm, even though the motor and the weapon isn't spinning at this point. I was able to kind of control the match and keep him upside down and high center him to complete and get the first win for Honker in the loser's bracket. This third match is again in the loser's bracket. I'm going up against Hellfire.
Here we go. Hellfire versus Honker. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight, robots, fight.
Hellfire is not moving that well, and I was able to take advantage of that and had kind of control of the match. However, the size of their vertical spinner was a problem, and I made a poor choice of when to attempt to attack.
So both opponents were able to go back and rebuild in the pits. You only get one of those
In the effort to kind of do something visible. Unfortunately, I come down on top of his weapon, and it looks like a lot's happening, but that's just my my weapon arm bouncing due to the opponent's weapon.
Kyle, I am worried for this goose.
Wow, there's parts coming off.
Yeah, that goose might just get decapitated.
But Honker has successfully pushed Hellfire into the corner.
Yeah, you can't pin for too long, but that definitely does score you some control points, some aggression points with our judges. So if Honker can keep doing that, even with that weapon not fully spinning. Oh, is the weapon spinning? Hard to tell with that small weapon at this speed. No, it is not. But still showing aggression with that weapon, which I think is a really good idea. And there he goes, just slamming it into the weapon. Why not?
Can Hellfire make the kill shot here?
I don't really elicit any real damage, and yeah, unfortunately, I am not able to really do enough damage and control the match to the point where I can win. I get knocked over once again, and that is the end of Honker's run in the Norwalk competition in May.
Honker is going back to Florida. It's
So that was my first Norwalk experience. Honker went 1 and 2 ultimately, but I was very happy, even though it got really damaged in that first match, that I was able to get the unit working again for at least 2 more matches. I definitely recommend, if you get the chance, to go to Norwalk. It's a really cool facility, well run, enjoyable time. They get everything done in one day. Very exciting to be there. Very exciting to be a part of all the production and broadcasting that they do. So, what's next for Honker? Well, I plan to redesign it. I think I've got a couple ideas. Obviously, the big issue with the aluminum welded chassis is something I need to work around and improve. Also, the fact that it was welded prevented me from fixing it at the event because there just wasn't any weld capabilities. So I'll probably look into changing a chassis mostly out of high-density polyethylene, flat pieces that I can make spares of that can easily be swapped back and forth if I have issues, if things get hurt. Likewise, a big issue, with the idea of this rotational weapon that needs to go through the whole movement. When it hits a robot, it just stops and it can't continue its rotation movement. So I end up having to go back. It's very difficult to control and think about in the middle of a competition while you're fighting. Since it can't go through that movement to keep hitting, I really need to rethink the approach there. I'll keep it as a 4-bar mechanism, but I probably will limit the range of motion so that it is really doing more of a chop and using the 4-bar linkage to get that acceleration that it needs to get a good bite into the opponent. I probably will also think about widening the base and trying to make it a little bit more like a typical saw or hammer saw type configuration. Looking at something that's a little bit wider, maybe some bigger forks, ends up looking more like a saw blades kind of configuration, most likely. I need that width probably for more motor control and also to just make it harder for the opponent to get around to the backside. So that was it in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the event recap, and I'm looking forward to rebuilding Honker, hopefully to be a little bit more competitive and hopefully win a few more fights next time. Thanks for watching.